MovieWeb.com.
Well, my first question is, Eric has some pretty strong ideas about autobiographical literature, but I read this morning that this is a little bit autobiographical. I'm wondering, do you agree with his views on that, the character's views?
I don't think Reprise is a particularly autobiographical film in the sense that it's my story or me and my co-writer's particular story, but the environment and the milieu of the characters are certainly one that we know very well, and it was kind of made out of a nostalgia for a time and place. You know, we grew up in Oslo and had lived abroad for a long time, so I think it's a curiosity to explore Norway and that environment of young writers.
Why was the paradox in the beginning so important or integral to the narrative of the film?
Just to understand your question correctly, when you say the paradox?
The paradoxal opening and the ending.
We wanted to try something that we hadn't seen before. In the beginning of the film, we show almost like a dream sequence of the shared, maybe slightly naive and comical dream of what these two main characters want for the future. And I thought it was a kind of fun device to get to know a character through their ideas of a future, and then obviously life happens and things turn out quite differently.
Well, it was interesting, but I was saying I needed to watch the movie again because the ending also goes in that way, and I'm wondering, how is the audience supposed to take that ending? Is it supposed to be ambiguous? Are we supposed to see that one of these characters has passed away and this could be what had happened if he hadn't passed away? Or
with Reprise, I think it was interesting to explore what you in music call an up and out ending, which means that you leave people thinking. I wanted it to be ambiguous, but not in a way where it's annoying to people. I wanted it to be emotionally resonant, but in terms of narrative open. I mean, it's about young people and life goes on, so it's appropriate, I think, to have a kind of an open ending.
Well, I thought it was too, but I thought it was interesting that you set it up almost when he's counting, like he got hit, and then the next minute he walks in, and you're like, oh, okay, that didn't happen. Am I reading that right when I'm watching the film? That you're setting
Oh, you
up
mean when he almost gets hit by the car?
No, when he's riding his bicycle down the street, he's counting, and then all of a sudden he doesn't get to the last number, and then it just goes.
But that's not the ending of the film, though.
No,
there's another act. Yeah.
Well, no, that's my point, was that maybe he died there, and then we see this paradoxal ending. That's.
You know what? When I make movies, I always enjoy if an audience can have their interpretation and have their understanding, but certainly I don't want to completely lose them. So it's always a balancing act, and I think that's been fun with Reprise, that I get sort of different kinds of feedbacks as to how people interpret it, but most people seem to find a way with it and make their version, which I'm happy about. So.
Okay, well, I know one of the scenes where he meets his inspiration for writing.
Yeah.
That had to be autobiographical, because I'm like, that's such a perfect scene. Did that happen to you?
I mean, in the film, there's the scene where the young aspiring writer Eric meets Sten Egil Dahl, an old recluse, kind of like J.D. Salinger or someone, in America. So I never had that exact thing happen to me, but I certainly remember when I did my graduation film in London, I had Nicholas Roeg come and see it, and Nicholas Roeg is one of my all-time favorite directors, and he really appreciated it, and it meant a lot to me.
But you didn't have somebody else come in and interrupt your conversation with him after?
No, what actually happened, when we met Nicholas Roeg, my editor who did my graduation film in film school and also did Reprise, he's a big Nicholas Roeg fan, and there were so many people at that graduation screening that were like aunts and uncles and family and stuff. So he just thought it was some sort of an older family member or something. So he didn't come over and say hello, and I think he still regrets that.
But I gotta ask you, I thought it was interesting that you kind of obscure Lillian's face at the beginning. I'm wondering, why did you decide to kind of keep her out of it until towards the end?
I think the film is about a group of young guys and their friendship, and it's really focusing in on the dynamic between guys and also their relationship to girls. And in a way, this character Lillian, the girlfriend of Eric, is not even a part of his world. He kind of tries to avoid her. He wants to break up. He doesn't dare. And we thought it would be kind of an interesting device, kind of a comical one, to almost leave her out of the film. But without revealing too much, she sort of comes in later and means, people should see the film.
Well, I thought it was kind of glamorous in an old school sense that these guys wanted to be writers. Do you think people today still aspire to be literature to be a writer?
I don't think the film is about writers. I think it's a metaphor for a certain ambition, and we wanted to ask the question, if two people really share a passion for wanting to do something and one of them doesn't want it anymore, what's left of that friendship? We want to explore that psychological dynamic between two really good friends. I think there's a lot of people who wants to be writers, particularly in Norway, and around the world. I mean, I was in New York last week, and someone said, "Oh, I have so many friends in the East Village that are young and want to write books," and So I think you will always find this group of friends, but certainly I wouldn't say that all young people in Norway are like this, that they all want to write books or something.